Scene from a book playing out in real life? Let's not right now. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing a very special 24-hour reading vlog, all thanks to a box of stories. Oh, I'm so excited to be working with them for this video. Now, if you haven't heard of a box of stories, they are a book box subscription service, but their mission statement is something that I'm just in love with. Every single year, there are millions of books that get printed, but because there's so many, that means that sometimes you have hidden gems that just don't make it onto bookshelves because of the sheer volume that is getting published. And so what Box of Stories does is they have an algorithm that goes through loads and loads of reader reviews for all of these different books to select curated books that maybe you haven't heard of before but are going to be hidden gems. And so for every box that you buy, you're saving 4 books from getting lost into the ether and never having heard of them. And then your box gets handpicked and delivered to you. Each one is a surprise box, and this is their very special Halloween surprise box, which I'm so excited to be able to bring to you. So inside your Halloween special box, you are getting a little art print, some very cute little bookmarks. I love these. They are so fun and kind of like cute spooky, which is great for Halloween time. We're also getting a little coaster, which I love. A good little coaster. I'm not gonna lie, I love the coasters. Is that a weird thing? Probably. But love that. And then we also get a tote bag. Oh my gosh, I love a tote bag. I've got loads of them, but I can never have enough. And this tote bag is so cute. And then, of course, we have the 2 books. Now, there are a couple of book boxes that you can choose between. There is a 4-book one and a 2-book one, but they are surprises. So the books that you get might be different to the 2 books that have been chosen for me, and I've not heard of either of these. The idea for this video is I'm going to be reading one of these books, giving you a full review, and honestly, I'm already impressed with this book box. I love it. I love it so much. But okay, let's get into the books. So we've got The Graveyard Shift by Maria Lewis. I've not ever read a Maria Lewis book. It's not an author that I've heard of, but I love this cover. I really like that. And on the back it says, "The killer is out there and they're listening." Ooh, I love that. Okay, so we're following Tinsel, and Tinsel is the host of The Graveyard Shift, a late night radio show where she and her loyal listeners celebrate the sounds of cult cinema. Oh, that sounds so good. I love the idea of that. That is until somebody gets murdered live on air. Love it. Love it. She's freaked out by the horrible incident. Understandably so. They now have to try and work out what's going on because the bodies won't stop dropping, with the killer or killers striking in increasingly gruesome ways. This is going to be good. I think this is going to be amazing. Very much looking forward to this one. And it's not long either. It's just over 300 pages. And then we have A Good House for Children by Katie Collins. Again, another book and author that I've not heard of. This one seems to be a bit more historical leaning, like a bit more atmospheric and creepy. So this one is, most villagers won't go near the reeve and turn hostile when Orla asks them why. Perhaps they're just envious. She's moved into a grand old mansion high on the edge of the Dorset cliffs. Dorset is a lovely place. Work on the house turns up unsettling objects Orla wishes had stayed buried. Doors open and close on their own, and reflections are not to be trusted, and her son Sam is obsessed by his imaginary friend. That sounds really good. So it definitely feels like we've got a bit of a haunted house going on. I think the kind of English countryside setting is going to be perfect for an atmospheric read. This one says it's a bone-chilling tale of 2 women bound together by a place determined to bring all their worst fears to life. Oh, okay. So I think this is going to be very atmospheric, very chilling. Ooh, I like this as well. I'm very intrigued. I feel like The Graveyard Shift is going to have a little bit more pace to it, maybe because of the murders that are going on and trying to figure out who it is. But I feel like this one is going to have that eerie, suspenseful vibe to it. Oh, I'm so impressed with these picks. I think they're going to be fantastic. Not sure which one I'm going to go with. I think we'll see that as the video progresses. But I'm really, really pleased with these. And in your Halloween surprise box, each book is going to be a horror book or a paranormal book or just something spooky and stuff. And I'm loving this. This is fantastic. So if you would like your very own Halloween special book box, I do have a link for you. And if you use that link in the description below, you will get 20% off your book box, which is amazing. So again, thank you so much to A Box of Stories. I'm so excited to do this video, but I think the first thing I need to do is go out and get some spooky snacks to start this Halloween vlog. Of an evening. I'm gonna be doing some dinner soon. I'm really excited actually. I'm planning to do a pizza, but do it in the shape of a pumpkin. I saw it on Instagram, so we're gonna give it a try and hopefully it works. Reading! Oh my gosh, I'm enjoying it. So I decided to go with A Good House for Children. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm not gonna lie. I am 100 pages in. I'm up to chapter 10, page 101, and this is so eerie and unsettling, and I think it's the perfect book for this time of year. It's already starting to get darker, it's colder right now, and I live alone. I'm a scaredy cat. Like, I'm a complete scaredy cat, and this is so unsettling. Oh my god, I'm enjoying it though. It's very good. So we do get two different timelines. In the first timeline, 2017, we're following Orla, and Orla is this artist, but honestly her husband is an absolute douchebag. He is so horrible. Let me just get myself comfy. Hang on. But yeah, he's an immediate red flag. All the things in that first chapter, when you're seeing him, the way that he controls a lot of things, he is not a nice person. And yes, Orla does allow that. She is very laid back. She doesn't really like to make decisions and things, and so she feels a lot more happier when he is taking control. However, it's now got to the point where her life is dictated by him, like she lost herself along the way. Now he's decided, okay, we're moving. We're gonna move down to Dorset, and there's this house that I found, and this is what we're gonna do. And he bought it and did all of it without actually showing her first. When they went to see the place, he'd already bought the place. It's now decided that he, because he works in Bristol, well, he's only going to go back home on the weekends. So she's alone in this really big old house that needs a lot of work with their two young children. So isolating because she doesn't drive. He takes the car to work during the week. She's got no car, so it's a very long walk into the local village. So she's really closed off from anyone that she actually knows in this really rickety house. And there have been some weird things going on, like weird sounds that keep happening at night, and weird presences that she kind of feels like there's a presence but can't see anything. When she does see something, it looks like a weird shadow, and it's just really eerie and unsettling. Like, I'm really enjoying the descriptions of this. I think the imagery is really good. I'm really enjoying that, and it very much is unsettling. Now, I'm sure for a lot of people this wouldn't seem that scary, but like I say, I live alone and I'm a scaredy cat, and so creepy houses, they creep me out, okay? They really do. They always have, but definitely living alone, and then you're hearing about weird sounds and things in the book, and then like a weird sound happens and you're like, What was that? What was that? I love it. It's the same like what I did to myself when I was watching serial killer TV shows on Netflix of an evening time, and then it would be dark outside and I'd be like, oh, this was a really bad idea. It's kind of like that, where I'm getting those little nerves and stuff from it. But I think that's a mark of a good book, that it can give me that with the imagery. But we do have the second timeline, and in the second timeline, we are following Lydia, and Lydia is kind of like a childminder, a live-in childminder. The family that she's with, they've all just moved to Reeve House. The mum, Sarah, has decided that the kids aren't going to be going to school, that they're going to have a year out of school and stuff. There's a big loss within the family, and you know, they're all really struggling. And so Lydia spends her days looking after the children, entertaining them. There are 4 children, but again, weird, unsettling things start to happen. I really like it. There is a bit of crossover with Sam, who is Orla's son, who refuses to talk, doesn't want to talk. He can talk, just doesn't want to talk. And his imaginary friends, I feel like the crossover there's good. That's good. It's very unsettling. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like, I have to admit, children are creepy. I mean, a lot of horror films, you've got creepy children in there. This book is giving creepy children. Like, it's weird, but I'm loving it. It's so easy to read, and I'm really liking that. I didn't manage to get this started till a little bit later this afternoon. It wasn't until like about 3:30 I managed to sit down and read this, because by the time I'd gone out to get snack and come back, I needed to get other editing bits and things like that done with my day. But this evening, all I plan on doing is reading more of this. I would like, honestly, I think I'll be able to at least get to page 200 this evening and then finish it out tomorrow is the plan. But I'm really enjoying this. A lot of the books that I've really enjoyed tend to be really underrated books that don't really get the spotlight like they should. When I was doing my reset videos where I would go to the library to go get a library book out for the month, I would purposely go there with no intention of a specific book, just to browse and see what they had and go based off of a synopsis rather than, oh, I've heard of that title. Really worked. Like, I found some really good gems that way. And even like my local bookstore, sometimes they'll have books that I've never even heard of and they end up being really good books to read. It's great when you have books that you've never heard of that end up being good, is what I'm saying. So I'm really enjoying this selection by A Box of Stories. Great pick. Love this book so much. I love the fact that on here, on the cover, it says the perfect place to destroy a family, and you can literally see the cracks happening. It's so good. With Orla being an artist, she's creative. She'll see things in a slightly different way. She'll notice the tiny little details that are changing, and I love that, especially to do with her artwork and stuff. Oof, it's good. Oh, I'm loving it. It is really good. So yeah, the plan is let's do some dinner and get back to reading some more of this. much look like the morning time because it's so overcast outside. It's dark enough that I've actually had to put my main light on, which is honestly quite hilarious to me and still perfect mood for this video. But I will say I definitely got a bit creeped out from this book. So I am up to page 233. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm in the middle of a chapter, but I did have to stop reading it at one point because it was quite late. Well, late for me. It was about what? Must have been about 11:15, 11 o'clock at night. In this book, there are quite a few scenes to do with birds and this house, and it's eerie. I really enjoy those parts of it. I think it adds a nice spooky element to the book. When I'm chilling out, I've got my back to the window, stretched out on my sofa, reading this book, and all of a sudden I hear this thud against my window. Scares the crap out of me, startles my cat, who then runs up to sit on the windowsill to find out what's happened. And the thing is I'm really high up. I'm on the 3rd floor. There is nothing that can actually do that apart from a bird or something like that. And I was like, yeah, no, we're putting this down. I'm not reading anymore tonight because I need to be able to sleep. I definitely freaked myself out a little bit there. And it was probably nothing. I had a look this morning, there's nothing there. It's absolutely fine. But you know when you're just like, scene from a book playing out in real life? Let's not right now, especially as I say, I am a certified scaredy cat, so you know. I am really enjoying this book. It is really good. It's so easy to read. I find myself just sitting there thinking, okay, I'll read for like 30 minutes and then an hour's gone past because I'm finding it just so readable. And yes, it has a bit of a slow start, but I also like that because it's slowly building up that atmosphere, that tension, and so it does just work. Like, I like that. But there are a few things that I forgot to talk about. One is that this book is kind of broken up into parts, and so every so often we'll get a page where it will say one line. Hang on a minute, it happens right at the start of the book and then continues throughout. So like at the very start we have this called Budding, and I was a bit like, okay, fair enough when I first started the book, but that continues throughout this. Every so often it will be like an indicator, almost like part 1, part 2, but instead with a different line of text. And then following it, you always get this nursery rhyme, an English nursery rhyme, and of course it's all the creepy ones. Has anyone realised that a lot of children's nursery rhymes are just really, really creepy? And so I really like that. I find that really interesting to have that throughout here. I think it just adds to the creepy factor of this because a lot of the creepy factor is around children, as I've already said, which I do find quite creepy. So yeah, I'm enjoying this. But there was also a sentence that really reminded me of We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, where it talks about, can we not just go live on the moon, which is something that is referenced a lot during We Have Always Lived in the Castle. So I quite liked that. I liked picking up on that. Whether it was an intended reference or not, I'm not sure. That was the reference that I made to that Shirley Jackson book, which, as we know, Shirley Jackson is a good horror and atmospheric, eerie writer. It was definitely one that was a slower build up, and it was about these really unsettling children. So I feel like you can see the correlation with this really old house and then very creepy, unsettling children. And I think what does add to it is because you've got the two timelines in here, and to be fair, a lot of the scenes that are happening are kind of mirrored, but I also quite like the fact that the scenes are mirrored in some way. It adds to that unsettlingness that it's not just Orla having like a mental breakdown. It also happened to Lydia, and I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying seeing that correlation because I feel like it just adds to it. Whereas if it was just Orla, you could argue, is it the isolation and the fact that she is very an imaginative person that's sending her down this spiral mentally? Again, I always find fascinating, but I think because we've got that two timeline, it lends more to the supernatural element, which I am enjoying. So I think it's good. I think having that extra timeline does work to lend to the supernatural and not just be the mental, which I like. I think it's well crafted. I think it's good. I don't have much left to read. I think I've got about 90 pages left. So I plan to finish this morning. That's literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to do myself some breakfast and we're going to sit down and finish this book because I've really enjoyed this. And again, it's not one I would have picked up if it wasn't for this book box because I've never heard of it before. And even like on Goodreads, there aren't many ratings to this book at all, but it is very good. This really is a perfect pick for me. So I'm very impressed. But okay, right, I am very hungry. I am rambling. Let's go and finish this book. just finished A Good House for Children and I really enjoyed this book. I will say the ending kind of left off in a way. It's an ending where it's like a non-ending in a way. It doesn't answer everything. You don't get a full set, this is what it is, this is the reasoning for things. But I also don't mind that. I actually really don't mind that in books if we don't get a full answer for everything that was going on. Like, I've read a lot of books that end on a kind of non-ending, and that sort of ending works for a book like this, I feel. I'm also really impressed that this is Katie Collins' debut novel, and I would definitely be keeping an eye on them in future. This really was a very good atmospheric read filled with dread and tension and just the unknown, which I really liked, and I enjoyed seeing our characters kind of unraveling and feeling so alone and cut off from people, and how other people just wouldn't believe what was happening and how isolating that can be. And it was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. I do think like the ending, the way it did, like it didn't wrap up everything, but again, leaving things loose threads kind of implies the whole this is going to happen again, and you know, I think that was good. I just think a story like this is very much a haunted house ghost story with it going to keep repeating forever, and that was very good. Like, I enjoyed this. Like I say, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with this book, and thank you to A Box of Stories for sending this to me. Like I say, if it wasn't for them, I never would have heard of this, and this is exactly what their mission is all about with this book box, is those gems, the hidden gems that do not see the limelight, that get hidden away, and they bring them to life. They bring them to the forefront in your surprise box, and I loved this. This was definitely a surprising read for me. It exceeded my expectations. I have to admit, when I was reading the synopsis, obviously I said it at the start of this video, that this felt almost like a historical fiction book to me. I didn't realise that it was only set in 2017 for some of it, because it doesn't say that on there, but reading the synopsis reminded me of something like The Clockwork Girl, which I really enjoyed, and this is a historical fiction, very eerie gothic read, and the synopsis was giving me the same vibes as this, and so I did go into it expecting a little bit more of a historical fiction setting, and while that isn't the case, it did so well with the eerie, haunting quality, the atmosphere of it. It was what I like in these sort of gothic historical fiction books, or just gothic books in general. I think this was very good. So if you are someone that does like a good gothic classic, or just a good gothic book in general, I feel like you would really like this. Like I say, it's very slow build up, but when it gets there, it is very good, and I feel like that slow build up is really, really needed. So yeah, I am thoroughly impressed with this book. I'm very surprised. I honestly did think that both of these picks were amazing picks for me and my sort of reading taste. As much as I haven't read The Graveyard Shift yet, I definitely will soon, because the synopsis and everything sounds absolutely amazing. As we know, I do love a good murder mystery, and this one, like I say, it was brilliant. I really enjoyed my time reading this, and would highly recommend, if you haven't read this book, if you haven't heard of it, maybe go have a look, give it a try, or even better, give A Box of Stories a try, because this was fantastic. I do have a link in the description for you that will give you 20% off your book box, and the Halloween special is definitely the time to do it, with all their horror, paranormal, spooky, atmospheric reads on offer. Worth it. Like I say, you may not end up with these two books like I got, because they are surprise boxes. These were really good. I thoroughly enjoyed my time. I know I keep saying that, but it's so true. Like, genuinely, I did not want to put this book down, apart from when I got too scared, but you know, it was a really good time, and I am really impressed with the choices that were sent to me. Like, I'm really impressed with these. I thought they were very good. I love, as I've already mentioned, having books that I haven't heard of before, those underrated books, and being able to bring them to people's attention and stuff, and this book box does exactly that. So I am very happy, very grateful to have been able to work with A Box of Stories for this video, and I hope you all have enjoyed it. And please let me know, have you heard of either of these books? Or what is an underrated book that you think deserves a bit more love? I would love to know in the comments below. So I've had a really nice time, to be fair, just having a nice little relaxing time. I will say, okay, that pumpkin pizza. Yeah, okay, that was a bit of a deformity. We tried. It was my very first time trying to do a stuffed crust pizza as well. And to be fair, my first time using this pizza dough. So, you know, we tried. We gave it a good go, and it ended up being a bit more Frankenstein pumpkin, but you know, the vibes were there for Halloween, I feel like. But I'm really, really pleased with this. It's really got me in the mood for the Halloween season. I'm so excited, and again, just a massive thank you to A Box of Stories. I'm gonna keep on rambling at you because it's what I do, so I'm gonna try and stop myself now and just leave it as thank you so, so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you are interested in finding out more about A Box of Stories, again, you can check out them with the link in the description below. And if you've made it this far but just don't know what to comment, then let's leave a little ghost emoji in the comments below. So once again, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please do consider giving it that thumbs up, subscribing, commenting. Those 3 things really help this channel out. My social media links and all the details will be linked in the description for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.